A hectic morning. My wife Amy has a morning call at 8:30 a.m. for the next 2 weeks with her work. So that means I get to take care of the kids up until 9 o'clock, which means I have about 1.5 minutes to prepare the show if I want to be a minute and a half late. So that's where we are. We had a minute and a half to prepare the show today. So we're going to talk about something that I think I know better than most, that I succeed at better than most. Not to toot my own horn, not to sound egotistical. First things first, it is important. What's going on with my hair today? It's important that you are very, very self-aware. So many people in many, many aspects of life completely lack self-awareness. And you want to make sure that you are as self-aware as you can possibly be, because you're not going to be good at everything, and you're not going to be bad at everything, right? So you want to make sure that you accurately assess your skill sets and make the most of them, and if possible, share them with the rest of the world. So today, we're going to talk about work, life, family, home, whatever, balance. Essentially, how do you get what you want out of life? Because at the end of the day, it's kind of all that matters, right? How do you get what you want? So, first things first, you have to sit down and decide what you actually want. So many people go through life, their entire life, without ever thinking, what do I want out of life and how do I go about getting it? What they instead do is they just try to do a bunch of things kind of randomly. And you want to make sure that you very clearly pinpoint what you want and that you are reasonable about it. Because I hate to break it to you, but you cannot get everything out of life. There's just not enough time in the day to have literally everything. However, you can have everything that you want, assuming your wants are reasonable, right? If your wants are reasonable, then you can very reasonably achieve those things, right? So you need to sit down and figure out what you want, and then once you figure out what you want to develop a plan to get it. I'll use myself as an example. About 5 or 6 years ago now, I essentially determined that I wanted to be able to stay home more than 1 week per month, because I was a traveling tournament player. And that means I need to figure out either how to have loads of money or I need to figure out how to have a job, essentially. So how can I use the skill sets that I already have to make money from home? And the easy answer for me, given I already had a training site, was to ramp up the training site and see what happens. And I had a few other things I was experimenting with as well, but it seemed like the training site was the one that made the most sense for me personally, given the things I already had, right? Given the skills I already had. There were other ideas of go get a job, right? I mean, I've had a few offers from various hedge funds to work for them. I've had a few offers from venture capitalist firms to work for them, but I don't know anything about that, and I can very easily fail at that. Whereas I thought it would be easier and a better use of the skills I know that I have to stay in the poker niche, which maybe is smart, maybe not smart, right? I did know it would pay the bills kind of immediately, whereas things like getting a job where you only get paid a lot if you really succeed, and otherwise you are pushed out. That's not necessarily what you want to bank your future on, but depends on your scenario in life, right? So I wanted to be able to stay at home and have kids and have a good home family balance. So that implied I cannot be traveling and playing poker all day, every day. Okay? So we had to develop a plan to do that. And that meant essentially pushing other things to the side that I thought I wanted that I did not actually want. They were not actually productive for me long term. Good example of this is a lot of the various hobbies, right? Like Magic the Gathering. I used to play a lot of Magic the Gathering, and now I play none. Why? It's not because I don't like it, it's because I just don't have time for it. It's not a priority, right? So you have to figure out what your priorities are. Another good example is I always thought I wanted to learn other languages. Why? Because it'd be cool and useful. But am I going to actually sit down and devote the time to do it? And the answer, unfortunately, is no. That said, I did find a program called Fluent Forever, which I'm gonna start looking into because it seems like it's pretty decent. Anyway, it's not a priority, right? And given it's not a priority, I should not feel bad for not having and achieving that thing. Hey, you want to come say hello? You want to come say hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look. Here's Thomas. This is the baby I wanted to have. I wanted to have a family with this baby, so here he is. Can you say hello?
Hello.
Do you know how old you are? You're 1. Can you blow a kiss? Can you say good morning? Do you see you? Oh, who are you? Come here. Here's the other part of the family. Can you say hello? Show everybody what you have. What is that?
A truck.
A truck?
Yeah.
Is this the truck?
Yeah. Look what they can do, guys.
What does it do?
Show
Show them. Show them. Oh, it's a don't bang on the computer. It's a transformer. All right, stop. Be careful. There's coffee right there. Be careful. All right, can you say bye-bye?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, can you say bye-bye?
Bye-bye.
Bye, miss you. All right, have fun. Go play with your grandpa. Go, out of the door. Okay, I decided I wanted a roundel of babies. So we have a roundel of babies. Good. So now that we have it planned to get the roundel of babies, how do we maintain the roundel of babies and also maintain life, right? And I think this is where it is very important to compartmentalize to some extent. So, in reality, when you have 2 kids, they're going to want to spend all their time with you if they can. Just how it is. And to be fair, you may want to spend all of your time with them. However, that's not necessarily practical for most people because you have to go to work, right? You have to go to work, you got to make some money, you got to pay the bills. Okay, how do we do this? This is where I think you have to do what I refer to as compartmentalize. You need to have very clear distinctions in your schedule where this time is for this particular thing. Things in my life, there's only a few, really. There is family time, work time, and poker time. I don't necessarily consider poker work time because, like I said, at this point, work is building a educational poker training business for all of you, right? That is the work. So, what do I do? I'll tell you what I do. Whenever I'm home, which at this point is about 3 weeks per month, pre-COVID, post-COVID, it's all the time, clearly. What I do is I wake up at 6 a.m. and take care of the kids until 9 a.m., maybe 8:45 a.m. So, that entire time, I'm with the boys. Next, from 9 until 6, Monday to Friday, I work. I'm in this little office, my little cubicle. It's not too big. I can basically touch the walls. And I work for that entire period. What is that? 9 to 6, that's 9 hours. I basically work a solid 9-hour day every day. Maybe I take a 30-minute break to have some lunch and to relax. I'm grinding it out, right? We're grinding it out hard. And then, from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m., when the boys go to bed, I'm hanging out with the boys. And then from 8 p.m. until 10 p.m., I hang out with my wife. And that is my day, Monday to Friday. And it turns out you get to spend, well, how many hours do I get to spend with the boys? 7, 8, 9, 6, 7, 8. So I get to spend a solid 5 hours with the boys every day. And then I get to work a solid 9 hours. And I get to spend 2 somewhat quality hours with my wife. Then also, on the weekends, what I do, Saturday, I spend all day with the family. I do not do any work on Saturdays unless I really have to. And typically, that results in me getting to spend the entire day with the family. And then on Sundays, I spend the first half of the day with the family from 6 a.m. until 2 p.m. And then I will grind online poker from 2 p.m. until whenever I'm done. So that gives me a solid 10-hour poker session once a week. It's not a ton of poker, but if you play a lot of tables, you get to put in a lot of volume. And I get to spend a decent amount of time with the family, right? So that results in me spending roughly half my time with my family, half my time working, and a little bit of call it enjoyment time playing poker. You'll find that you enjoy poker a whole lot more if you don't play it all day every day. If you play poker all day every day, you're ready to do anything else. But if you play poker once a week, you're loving it. So that's how I personally compartmentalize my time. And whenever you do compartmentalize your time, I think it's very important to focus on your time. Or focus on the thing that you're doing in that time. Something I have a problem with, and I think everybody has a problem with, is they are distracted, right? And what this essentially amounts to is you'll be spending time with your family, but also checking your phone to see what's happening on Twitter, or to see what's happening in your business, or to read the news, or whatever. And if you're distracted, you're not making good use of your time with your family, right? And that's not good. If you're sitting there playing poker and you're distracted and you're worrying about what's happening in your business, or worried about your kids outside or whatever, I don't know. If you're worried about things that's not related to the thing at hand, you're not going to be nearly as efficient and productive at the thing that you are actually trying to do. So you need to make sure that you are present and make sure that you're actively focusing and paying attention to the thing that you've already determined that you care about. Don't forget, these are the things that you care about. You are purposefully driving your time and attention to these things that you care about. You're not going to sit around doing things that basically are nonsense for you. You are instead going to spend the time on the things that you think are the most high quality and high value, right? And that essentially means that you, like in the process of that, you need to be devoting your time to those things, okay? So, long story short, when you are trying to focus on things, put your phone away and pay attention. And make sure you're present. You really need to make sure you're present. And look, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. I understand that I'm certainly not a master at this yet. But that's that. It appears the Twitch chat is disabled. Nate, if you're here, I think you are, see what's going on with the Twitch chat. Everyone, make sure you resubscribe using Twitch Prime. Yeah, if you have an Amazon account, by the way, you could subscribe to one person on Twitch each month. It's completely for free. Well, it's not free. You pay for Amazon Prime. I see some of you ask some questions. Do you have a degree? No, no degree for me. Hit the like button. Yes, hit the like button. You got a job last month at the casino working graveyard shift so you could put in sessions before your shifts. Yeah, graveyard shift is a solid shift. I mean, whenever I used to work at the airport, I purposely worked the graveyard shift so that, well, not a whole lot happened in the middle of the night. So that I could study poker. He looks younger with the beard. I had a beard in 6th grade, everyone. This is just not shaving for about 3 days. You've been on pokercoaching.com for a couple months, and in the last 2 weeks you made 9 final tables plus a win in a second. Wow, good job. Congrats. Good job, good work. Thomas is going to be a legend. I hope so. Thomas is growing up very quickly. He was just kind of like a mushy baby. Now he's a real boy. He actually went to his grandparents' house over the weekend, and then he came back Sunday, and they were watching a little bit of TV before bed. They were watching Little Mermaid, my wife and James and Thomas. And I came out during my tournament break, 55 past the hour. And Thomas says, Dad, sit. Dad, sit. And he just wanted to sit down, and then he grabbed my hand and he held onto my hand. It was so cute. Can you consider me a Transformer? Probably. Although, to be fair, I've never seen any Transformer movies. Transformers are different today than they used to be. Did you all know that? Back in the day, you had to unpull the Transformer in many, many different places. Now you just have 2 motions and the whole thing pops open. How neat is that? How do you think your schedule will change once the boys are in school? It won't. It'll just mean I'll have more quiet time. I mean, currently I'll tell you that my biggest constraint at home is essentially recording time. In the past, pre-kids, I could just record whenever I wanted, right? I could record content whenever I wanted. But now I can only really record content when the kids are not here because they'll just randomly start screaming, and that doesn't make for good recording. It's also kind of difficult for me to put my thoughts together if kids are screaming in my ear. So I have to record when they're out of the house, which is not all the time. But since Thomas started skipping his morning nap, Thomas doesn't take a nap at 9 a.m. anymore. Now they're usually outside more often. It's raining today, so they're not outside. That's why they're here. But usually they're outside during the day. Also, James did restart school, but today is a holiday, so he is not there. All right. So anyway, now, if they'll be outside more, it just means I'll have more recording time. $20, 20 people left in a $5 tournament. Kings in the big blind. Early position raises, you jam. He calls with tens. Okay, good. Congrats. Let's see. It's hard to get poker time without being a winner. Well, Kyle, let's talk about this real quick. You have to ask, if I'm not winning at poker, and it's purely a hobby, do I have time for a hobby that costs me money, at least in the short run? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you do, fine, nothing wrong with that. Back when I was younger, I had plenty of time to play Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone or learn languages and do whatever I wanted because I had nothing going on, right? But as you get more and more things going on, like a family and a job and trying to better your career and hanging out with your significant other, whatever, you're going to find that maybe, just maybe, it's not the right time for poker for you. Look at me right now, right? It's not really the right time for poker for me. And I'm basically a professional poker player. I kind of had to transition because I realized that I cannot be playing poker from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. every day if I want to be a good, reasonable father to my kids, per my thought process of what a good, reasonable father is. If you do it differently, I'm not judging or anything. But I knew I wanted to be there when my kids were awake for the most part, which implied can't be out playing poker all the time, and I can't be traveling and playing poker all the time. And fortunately, I'm in a situation where I could kind of get what I wanted, right? And that was very fortunate for me. But you're going to find that poker or many other things may not fit in your life. For example, let's say you want to have kids and you want to be home with your kids. Well, don't get a job, any job, that requires you to move far away or travel a lot, because that's not going to be conducive to a great family environment, right? So that's important. You want to make sure that you are doing things that lead to what you want. And that's important to recognize. For example, I had an opportunity in San Francisco. It was a good one. It was actually a good opportunity. And the question is, do I just stay in New York and keep living with my family, or do I pack it up and go to San Francisco for 6 months for this opportunity to see what could possibly happen? And the answer is, as much as I would have loved to have good San Francisco opportunity back in the day, it just does not fit with my life today. And it's not like things are going poorly here, right? I mean, if things are going poorly here, maybe you just have to make the sacrifice and you do it. You have a 3-month-old daughter and you're trying to figure out a GTO schedule. Yeah, when you have a 3-month-old, there is no GTO schedule. Just get through that period, wait 3 months, and then figure it out. What's in the cup today? This is coffee. The short hair makes you look young. Yes, short hair does make people look younger, I think. Up until a point. 1,600 in 2 weeks. Congrats. Do you ever use glasses in game? Not really. I used to. I think they're actually pretty bad for you now because they make the game much more serious. Do you have a lock on your door? No. Kids can come in whenever they like. That said, the kids... Oh, this is something I didn't mention. The kids know my schedule. And the kids don't really bother me. Like, for example, right now, whenever Thomas walked by, he looked at me, and I said, "Come here." And he said, "Okay, here I come." Otherwise, he would have just kept walking because he knows when this door, which is glass, let me show you this. I have this glass door that you can literally see out right out there, right? When that glass door is shut, it means you got to leave Daddy alone. And they understand. They recognize this, right? And that's good, right? I've essentially taught them the schedule. And it's important for you to make sure that everyone who's involved in your life to a high degree is aware of your schedule, right? Because let's say, for example, you are going to devote your Sundays from 2 p.m. until midnight playing poker. What if your significant other does not agree? Well, then you have a problem, right? You want to make sure that everyone is on board with your activities, right? All right, let's see. First time live, welcome. Hello, hello. You bought a pair of special poker glasses and they were too dark for you to see the board. Listen, you don't need sunglasses. Sunglasses make the game serious and you don't want the game to be serious. So the glass door is not a second green screen? Yeah, it actually is a green screen. It was just a joke. I mean, all of this, none of this back here is real. Look, you can like touch it. You see how the whole thing like kind of shakes if you touch it? It's because it's a green screen. Let's see. Played against a very bad loose passive player who had lost an all-in, calling the flop with 6 high, blah, blah, blah. You raised 5x with ace 10 on the button. Flop comes Jack, 10, 6. Late position shoved and you called. Is that correct? If he's loose and passive, probably not. If he's passive, it means he doesn't bluff a whole lot. All right. You're glad to get back in the office because you hated working at home. Working at home is tough, right? And the interesting thing is, like, I was in a neat scenario where nothing really changed for me when the pandemic happened. The pandemic happened. Besides, like, work-wise. Besides, I didn't get to travel to play poker anymore, right? Like, I always had been working from home in this office, so nothing really changed. Besides, my wife is home now, which, you know, that's sometimes distracting. But she set up a little office in the bedroom, which has a real door, so she shuts the door and goes in there and works out fine for us. Not a whole lot's changed. But for a lot of people, it's changed a lot. How many hours am I from Paris? I live in New York City, so I don't know, 7, 6, something like that. Are there any live places to play poker on the East Coast? I don't know. I'm not going to play. You live in Vegas now, I'm not missing much. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to lie. I would love to get out and go have a party in Vegas right now, but I don't think that's in the cards. Are you cheating if you use the poker coaching app while you're playing at the table? It depends on the rules of the venue, right? Because some sites you can use charts, other sites they say you cannot use charts. Some casinos, well, I will say most live casinos do not specifically ban the use of charts or any programs yet. They probably will in the future. But in the past, pre-COVID, it was perfectly fine to have your phone in your hand, look at the chart before the hand, put the phone down, face down on the rail. So you can basically look at the chart before the hand is dealt, memorize the chart, play the hand. You cannot have the chart open using the chart while you're in the middle of a hand. That's not allowed in basically any casino. But you certainly can have it, you can reference it right before you play the hand. That's certainly allowed. But you certainly should make sure that whatever site you play on, well, make sure you understand the rules of the site that you play on, right? For example, I know GG and Bet Online do not allow charts of any sort, even just very simple, basic charts. So don't do that, right? That said, obviously it's kind of a silly rule for simple charts because you can clearly just print them out and put them on the wall behind your computer and there you go, you have them. But, you know, don't break the rules of places where you work or play. If you want to become an amazing poker player, how much sacrifice do you need in terms of life work in the beginning? Depends on how fast you want to get good. You can take it slow or you can take it fast. In general, though, when people get good at anything, they devote a lot of their time to it, right? Like if you want to become a doctor, what do? You go to medical school and you devote 2 years of your life to it, and then some more, right? If you want to be a lawyer, what do? You go to law school. If you want to be a sandwich artist at Subway, what do? You get a job at Subway and you spend 8 hours a day there. So if you want to get really good at something, you inevitably have to spend a lot of time at it, I think. What if you're listening to an audiobook at the table? Again, I don't know. Good question, right? ACR just bans charts. Well, ACR bans anything if they feel like it. So understand that when you're playing on a site that can ban anyone or anything for any reason, then, you know, obviously be aware of that. I will say, like, I know back in the day, PokerStars, I don't think had any rule against real-time solvers. But about 2 years ago now, a poker backing company had people using basic pre-flop solver, or basically a basic solver in game, and it was not against the rules. It wasn't clearly against the rules, but what did they do? They banned everybody and took everybody's money. Like 60 people who were part of this backing site that made all of their backees use this real-time program. So understand that the sites may, in the future, decide this is just straight up not allowed, and they may ban everybody who's doing it. That said, I kind of doubt they're actually going to do anything for static basic charts, like images, but I think they will be pretty aggressive with real-time solving things. How can you watch my Sunday play live? Oh, you can't. Not right now. Maybe in the future. Do I smoke cigars? No. I will smoke about half a cigar per year. Usually that comes in the form of one every 2 years. which topic should you start with if you're a poker coaching premium member? You should send me an email to support@pokercoaching.com and let me know your situation, right? Because I don't know exactly what you're looking into. And I don't know exactly what you're trying to look into. Do you think playing live poker is a good idea? Sure, do whatever you want. I would tell you to make sure you're protecting yourself in today's environment, right? Because of COVID. Is note-taking allowed with real notebooks? That's basically always allowed, as far as I know. You're allowed to take notes as you see fit. I've never had a problem taking notes in a physical notebook in the real casino. Can you make a living out of poker? Sure. You can make a living out of almost anything. Let's see. You've been winning and playing well, but now your money is stuck because you used a crypto sign-up bonus and now have $2,800 rollover on sports betting. So what you're saying is you got a crypto deposit bonus, probably 50% or something, but now you have to bet $2,800 total on sports betting before you can cash out your money? Brutal. So look, in reality, what I would tell you to do, if that is the case, realize you're going to pay some vig here, but just make a bunch of small bets across the board. If every day for the next month or for the next week you bet $400 a day or $500 a day, well, do the math, right? 2,800 divided by 7 is what? Can't even do math. 300 a day, 400 a day. Say you bet $300 a day for the next week, $10 at a time on just random low vig bets like baseball, right? Is baseball even running? I don't even know. Like baseball or basketball or anything is like minus 105 or minus 110. Just bet on a bunch of minus 110 games. You're going to roughly break even. You're going to lose the vig, and then you'll cash that out. So if you have 2,800, you may bet 2,800 and you'll get back like 2,600 if you do that. So you're going to pay $200 to cash that out. That's the way to go about doing that. Just like NFL day, right? Like bet every over-under, bet every game, the point spread at minus 105 or 110 or whatever. And you can probably get 2,800 down pretty quickly. How do the vloggers take notes live on every hand? If the casinos don't allow video recording. A lot of casinos don't allow video recording. A few video bloggers have been banned from specific casinos for this. Typically, though, they will ask the casino ahead of time if they can do it, and they'll ask consent of the players at the table if they can do it. That's what the right thing to do is, I think. And usually most people will say sure. Because, hey, maybe they get to be on TV or whatnot, you know? All right. Bet it on both teams to score. Sure. I mean, look, I'm not necessarily trying to say what to bet on. I'm just saying how to pay the vig and cash out your money. Everyone's saying all these other things. Oh, bet big on a big favorite. No, don't do that. That's a good way to not cash out your money. If you have $2,800, or if you have to bet $2,800 to cash out your money, all you want to do is cash out your money. You're not trying to gamble on sports. You don't want a sure thing winner. You want to pay the vig and you want to cash out your money. How do you sleep earlier after a grind in order to have more time with your girlfriend? You don't want to let her sleep alone. You have to learn to chill out, is what it amounts to. Learn to not be so associated. Don't have the hands like running through your head. Don't dwell on them. Just let them go. For example, yesterday I busted at like 8 p.m. It's actually funny. I had about $40,000 in equity. And then I told my wife, look, it's probably going to be a long night. I'm first out of 100 people in this $1,000 Ryan tournament. And there were like 100 people left. And I was just out 40 minutes later. And yeah, it's tough because you go from like having infinite equity to not much. I think I got 10,000 or something, you know. And 10,000 plenty, don't get me wrong. Anyway, like you're like locked in, you're planning on playing all night and then you're just done. But like usually after a poker session, I'm done. I'm going to bed. I'm not trying to stay up and hang out. I'm trying to go to sleep because I want to go to bed and wake up. Maybe the right answer is have something to do the next day and want to go to sleep with your girlfriend. I mean, go lay down in bed and like listen to podcasts in your headphones. That's what I do. I don't know if that's necessarily ideal, but I listen to podcasts every night when I'm falling to sleep. Usually some nonsense podcasts I don't really care about. Some casinos put up signs saying you are being filmed for people like Brad Owens. Yeah, sure. If they're they're happy with that, then cool, right? You really like my YouTube videos. Well, thank you. If you have not seen my YouTube videos, check it out at youtube.com/pokercoaching. Go there, click subscribe. If you're enjoying this, by the way, click like, click subscribe. I would appreciate it. Is it Ask Me Anything time? That's not what we're talking about today, but sure. Essentially, to have good work-life balance, you want to make sure, let's sum it up, you know what you want. You develop a plan to get what you want, and you implement that plan with full focus and presence. And also, you make sure whoever is involved in that plan, your wife, your kids, your husband, your family, your employer, I don't know, whoever, you make sure that they are aware of your plan and they're cool with it. And if they're not cool with it, figure that out, right? So that's really what you want to do. You don't want to just flounder around and goof off, because it's easy to goof off. You're going to find that the easy things in life to do usually are not the most productive or the most beneficial. For example, if it was up to me, I would just play children's card games all day. But that's not going to be good for me long term, right? And you need to make sure you are doing things that are good for you long term. And that requires a little bit of forethought, a little bit of, self-observation. And you want to make sure you're doing things that will benefit you and those around you indefinitely. Which countries do you recommend for going pro? Doesn't really matter, I don't think. It's easier if the place you live is cheaper, because you ideally want your expenses to be low. I'm not exactly doing that, right? I live in Manhattan, where it's one of the most expensive cities in the world. But when you're starting to play poker, you want your expenses to be minimal. Like when I first started playing poker, I think my expenses were like $1,500 a month, which is not a ton. You struggle staying away from Battlegrounds. Indeed, Battlegrounds is a lot of fun. Hearthstone Battlegrounds is an amazing game. But it's nonsense, right? It's a good game to play one time during your lunch break. That's what I do. 30-minute lunch break, game takes 20 to 30 minutes. There you go. You've been playing poker for a while, but you want to change your approach. Where would I suggest you start to get a better fundamental knowledge of the game? Pokercoaching.com/fundamentals. I have a completely free fundamentals course. The beginning's going to be a little bit basic for you, but it gets advanced enough pretty quickly. How does GG rake three bet pots? I don't know. I'm not a representative for GG Poker or any other site. Can you send me hand histories of your deep runs? I mean, you can send me whatever you want, but I'm probably not going to be able to review them. Like I said, we don't have a whole lot of free time here. What were your steps when I started from $50? How did I go from 0 to hero? Don't think I ever viewed myself as a 0. I played 25-cent, 50-cent limit hold'em. Had 100 big bets. As soon as I got to 300 big bets, I kept playing. Once I got up to about $2,000, I moved to 50-cent dollar. And I kept between 200 and 200 and 400 big bets all the way up to the top of limit hold'em on party poker back in the day. Then I switched to sit and goes. Then I played a ton of sit and goes. So basically, I found a game. All you gotta do to win at poker, I'm gonna teach you how to beat poker really quickly. You ready? Find a game you can beat. Play it a lot. That's it. Find a game you can beat. Play it a lot. Now, there are many, many other points to this. For example, keep a proper bankroll, right? To be fair, 100 big bets is not a proper bankroll. For limit hold'em at least. Just like, 20 buy-ins is not a proper buy-in for no limit hold'em cash games, but it'll do, especially if you're willing to redeposit. Like back then, $50 was like some money. It was a day's worth of work for me, but it wasn't not like a ton of money. It's better to play $11 to $33 tournaments, or that day play $200 live tournament, which is better. I don't know. Does it really matter? Depends on your bankroll, right? This is a bankroll question. If you have the adequate bankroll of about, $15,000? If you have $15,000 bankroll, sure, play the $200 tournament. If you have instead if you want to play $33 games online, you probably need 8K bankroll, 5K bankroll. So if you have a 5K bankroll, you can play the smaller games. So you see, one game is substantially bigger than the other. So you'd rather play a giant game that requires a giant bankroll, or tiny games that require a tiny bankroll. So I'm surprised to see myself listed as a defendant in Mike Postel's $330 million defamation case. Surprised. Yes and no. can't really talk about that. When you're named as a defendant in a case, you really should not be speaking too much about it. That said, I'm being sued by Mike Postle. The whole group is being sued for $330 million. Hopefully I don't lose. All right. I'm sure there'll be more news on that in the future. Don't worry. We're all in the weeds on that. Let's see. Do I think ACR is rigged? I do not think ACR is rigged. I don't think any of the poker sites are rigged. Thanks for the free content. You're very welcome. Happy to help, Ashley. You can beat 1-2 no limit. There you go. If you can beat any game, Brian, if you can beat 1-2 no limit, you can make yourself $20 an hour. All you gotta do is sit there and grind out that $20 an hour, then move up. Move up, move up, move up. And there you go. All right, I have to go. Hope y'all have a great day. Make the most of it. I'll give you all some homework between now and next time I talk to you, which will be on Friday. I'm not going to be here on Wednesday because I'm recording an audiobook. But on Friday, between now and then, I want you to spend some time and figure out what you actually want in life and figure out how to get there. Okay? Figure out what you want, figure out how to get there. Because if you develop a logical approach to what you want in life, and the things you want in life are, within reason. They can be, somewhat extravagant or somewhat big goals, but, be within reason. You're going to find that it's actually possible to get what you want. Don't have goals like, I want to be the best poker player in the world, because you're competing against millions of other people, right? But if you want to have goals like, I want to be able to make $100K a year from poker, there are plenty of people that do that. If you want to have goals like, I want to have a family, plenty of people do that, right? You want to figure out, essentially, how do I get things that are within reason? And once you get those things that are within reason, you then can get bigger and bigger and bigger goals, right? And I want to see all of you succeed, not only at poker, but also at life. Okay? That is what I want for you. And between now and Friday, I want all of you to figure out what you actually want and also how you're going to get there. And I'm going to ask you about this on Friday, and I want some of you, even one or two of you, write this in the chat. That's going to be very beneficial for you because that's going to help you better your life. That is what we're trying to do here, is help you become the best version of you. All right, have a great day. Enjoy yourselves. Click like, click subscribe. Be nice to someone, and I will talk to all of you again on Friday. Bye-bye.